Happy Friday. Yes, we made it, part T. All right, like terms. Let's remember those like terms. Woo! Remember, guys. So when it comes to like terms, remember, they either have to be a constant or if they have a variable, be raised to the same power with the same variable. As we see, AZ, negative 4AZ, half AZ. All the same variable, all raised to the same power. Now let's look at some unlike terms. 5 is a constant. 5x is not. All right, let's look at negative 2z cubed. Nope, negative 4az can't be like, because one, negative 2 doesn't have an a with it, and that z is not cubed. All right, match the like terms. Did you match those terms? Did you notice which terms were which? If you notice, negative 6y squared goes with y squared and negative y squared. Also, we have two constants here, 8 and negative 6 squared. Oh no, the z squared is on its own. Notice that even though this negative 6 is raised to a power, because it doesn't have the variable, it's okay, it's still a constant. Nice noticing, guys. All right, another thing to remember. Adding and subtracting those like terms. So let's look at this. Remember, only like terms, okay? So 10q plus 8q. They both have the same variable raised to the same power, so we can just add the 10 and the 8, which becomes what? 18q. Now let's look at subtraction. Once again, has to be the same terms. All right, they both have AD and they're raised to the same power, which is 1. So now we can just do negative 21 minus 7, which let's use KCC. And what does that mean? That means keep, change, right? So this is going to become a plus sign and this is going to be a negative. So let's see what that will end up being. You got it, negative 28 AD. Good. All right, let's try an expression. Let's look at this. So we have 20k to the 5th power plus 5g to the 4th power minus 8k to the 5th power plus 2g to the 4th power plus 1. Whew. So let's break this down. One way to break this down is to draw shapes to help us remember which one's which. So I know there's 20k, so I'm did a triangle there. And don't forget to get your signs with it. And so I know that k to the 5th power 2, that they are like terms. Okay? Now I'm going to match the other like terms. 5g to the 4th power, I'm drawing a square, and 2g to the 4th power. And last but not least, we have that 1, which I'm just going to draw a circle. Look at that. So now let's sort them out. I have my triangle. I'm going to draw a line there so I don't get confused. I have my square. Draw another line here. And my circle. So let's put them together. So I'm going to put all my triangles together. So I'm going to do 20k to the 5th, which 20k is positive. But the negative 8k to the 5th is not. And so we're going to see it as a subtraction sign. So if I subtract 20 minus 8, don't forget to use your calculator. What do you get? You should have gotten 12. And we're going to do k to the 5th. Now let's put our squares together. So that is a positive 5g to the 4th. And that 2 is positive 2. So I'm going to do a positive 2g to the 4th. They're like terms, so now I can just add them. So now that's going to be 5 plus 2, which is 7g to the 4th. And not but last, what's happening with my 1? It doesn't have any other terms, so it's going to be 1 by itself. And so now we can just write the expressions together as 12k to the 5th plus 7g to the 4th plus 1. Nice job, guys. You rock. You try. So what happens when you see two expressions like this? 2v plus 3b minus m minus 3v plus 4b plus m. We can just draw a line and make it into a problem. You see I've drawn a line. So now let's just turn this into a problem. So we have the like terms matched together. Instead of horizontally, now it's vertically. So now I can do negative m plus m, which we just subtract them. And guess what? It is going to be 0. Now how about 3b plus 4b? It's going to be 7b. And that is a positive 7b. Last but not least, how about 2 minus 3? Well, if we remember, 2 minus 3 goes with our negative rules. We can do a keep, change, where we keep the 2 and add the negative 3, which guess what that means? It's actually subtraction. So we're going to do 3 minus 2, which gets us 1, and we take the sign of the bigger number. which is 3, so it's going to be negative. So this is going to end up being negative 1v, which we can rewrite as negative v plus 7b. You got this. Whoop! Nice job, guys. You got Miss Ward sweating over here. All right, so distributive property and like terms. So let's think about them all together now. Yes. So let's do some more remembering. Distributive property. Remember, when we do the distributive property, when we see something such as 5 times parentheses 2n plus 3, what we're going to do? We are going to distribute that 5 to 2n as well as to the 3. So what will that look like? It will look like 5 times 2n, we bring down the plus, right? And 5 times 3. Remember, with multiplication, it forces our hand. So we can multiply that 5 to the 2n, even though they're not like terms. So let's see if we get the answer right. Did you guys get 10n plus 15? You guys so smart. All right, let's put them together. Like terms and distributive property. So we have 2a times 5 parentheses 5 minus 1 parentheses. So let's see how this will work. So as we already know, we're going to distribute this 2a to the 5. And we're also going to distribute it to the 1, which basically means we're going to multiply it. So once we do that, we're going to have our 2a and our 2a. And we're going to have that times 5 times 1. And we're going to bring that subtraction sign down. Perfect. From there, let's multiply. So 2 times 5, we know is 10. So that's going to be 10a. Don't forget to bring our subtraction sign down. And 2a times 1 is 2a. Because we know through the identity property that anything times 1 will equal itself. So now, they're like terms. We can just subtract. 10 minus 2 is 8. And it would be 8a. Don't forget your variable. Nice job, guys. Oh, we already did that one, guys. My bad. So what if we see something like this? Well, let's look at it. So we're going to distribute, and let's speed this up a bit. All right, so now we're here. So we know 3 times 1 is itself through the identity property, plus we can multiply 3 to j, which will end up becoming 3j. But if you notice, this 3 does not have a j. So they are not like terms. So we keep it just like this. 3 plus 3j. So now you try. Or what happens if you see something like this? 5 times parentheses 1 minus 2y parentheses plus y. Well, we're going to do our same thing. We're going to distribute. So let's distribute that 5 to the 1 and the 5 to the 2y. So as you see, we distributed 5 times 1. We made sure to bring our subtraction sign down. We did 5 times 2y. And now we're going to bring that plus y down. Now let's do some of the math. 5 times 1 is itself is 5. We're going to bring that subtraction down. And once again, because it's multiplication, it forces our hand. So we're going to do 5 times 2y, which is 10y. And now we're going to bring down this other y. But guess what? They are like terms. So when we look at this, we see technically we can look at this and say this is a negative 10y plus y. So now, if we know our rules when it comes to negative numbers, this is going to end up, we're going to do keep, change. Or actually, because it's an addition sign here, we're going to subtract. So 10, remember this is a 1 here secretly. 10 minus 1 is 9. So we're going to go with the bigger number sign, which is 9, which is going to be negative. So it's going to be 5 minus 9y. Look at that, guys. You could do this. Now give this a try. You got it. All right, let's practice. Let's do this one, guys. Did you guys get D plus 8? Nice job. Let's try this one, a little bit more complicated. Let's try it. Are you guys on the right track? Remember to use the square and triangle method so you can match up your like terms. All right, and so now we could change this 3 into a 9 over 3. And the reason why is because if we do 9 divided by 3, that would get us 3. So now we could just add straight across, which would get us 10/3. And 10/3 would end up getting us 3. and 1/3 W. And we know we can do keep, change here. So we're going to keep the 4, change that subtraction sign to a plus sign, and change the 6 into a negative, which if we do 6 minus 4, that gets us 2. And because we go with the bigger number sign, it's going to be a -2. So we can just put -2. And that will be our answer. 3 1/3 W minus 2. So what if we see something like this? Ooh, it's getting more complicated. So this is what I would say to you. First, we're going to put a 1 on the outside, just because whenever we see that happening, that coefficient there is 1. Just sometimes as mathematicians, we can be lazy. We don't want to put the 1 there. And we're going to put a 1 next to this variable too, because there should be a 1 there. All right, so let's try it. We're going to distribute it. By this time now, I feel like you guys got the distributive property down. So we're going to speed this up a bit. Let's do it. So after you've distributed everything, this is what you should see. -2 times 4c, right? Plus -2 times 1. And then we have a -1 times 1c plus a -1 times 3. So now let's do the math of that. All right, so now we did the math. So -2 times 4c is going to be a -8c. And then we have -2 times 1, which is going to be a -2. It's going to be itself. And that will cancel out that plus sign. So we now have -8c minus 2. And now we also have that -1 right here, right? So that now becomes -1c because we did -1 times 1c. And once again, that negative sign cancel out that plus sign, and we have a -3 because we did a -1 times 3, which gets us a -3, right? So now if we look, we have some like terms over here. We have a -8c that I'm going to square, and we have a -1c. We also have two constants here, no variables. So I'm going to circle that. Give me 1 second. And I'm going to circle. So now we can put those together. I feel like you guys got it from here. Tell me what you get. So now we put that together. We have -8c minus 1c, but you see I did the keep, change method. I kept the -8. I changed the subtraction sign to a plus sign, changed the 1 to a negative, and got a -9c. The same thing happened here, and my answer is -9c minus 5. Did you guys get that? Definitely curious. All right, so let's try this one. I know it's kind of tricky. You got this. We'll talk about this one on Monday. Nice job, guys. Have a marvelous weekend. I hope this video brings you smiles because it definitely brought me smiles. Happy, happy, happy weekend and have a happy Friday. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Happy Friday. Have a great weekend.